Hey everyone, what's up? How are y'all doing on this fine Friday evening? Hopefully you can hear me all right. I've got a lot of different things in my face, so the microphone's kind of pushed a little further back than it normally is. Hope you all have had a good week. I am happy to wrap this one up. um, Tonight I am going to be working on some pieces for a diorama that I'm throwing together for a video that I'll be dropping later. But I figured it'd be fun to see a little bit of the process live. So I've got, my standard view here. I've also got an alternate camera if we want to see the wagon. Hopefully this particular Gunpla is not too much of a spoiler as to what this diorama is going to be of. But yeah, tonight I'm just going to be sort of tinkering with it, weathering it, redoing some of these panel lines, and hanging out with you guys. So, if you want to hop in the chat and say hi, I will be, taking questions and chatting along with you. Do let me know if you are catching the, subtle background music. If you notice any audio issues, give me a holler so I can fix those. And bees? What's up, Pyro? Good to see you, by the way. Bees. I'm not sure what you mean by bees. Are you asking if I am pro bee or anti bee? Because then it depends on the bee, for sure. So here we've got an HG 1/144th scale Gundam Alex. Well, to that my answer would be not the bees. Not the bees. Yeah, that I just disemboweled. If you've caught a few of my Gunpla live streams in the past, you've probably seen that I like to do a bit of parts forming, and that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. So obviously, I've got my the cover for the Gatling gun on the arm here. Well, I didn't want to actually mess up the actual Gatling gun, so I made a copy using some green stuff and Oyumaru. It fits. Right now it's a little snug, but I'm gonna be spacing that out a little bit so that it fits a little more snugly and or a little closer to the part there. And this will serve as a battle damaged version of the gun without having to actually battle damage the one that fits on it. And that way I can swap it on and off if I want it to be part of the diorama or not. All right. Sorry, my hair is a bit of a mess right now. So clearly this needs to be shaved up a little bit. Let's see. When working with these copied parts, especially ones that I don't necessarily care how still waiting on the Jupitive. Yeah, we've got to do something about shipping to the UK. It's a problem. You guys have some serious shipping delays. So let's see if I can just scoop out a little bit of this material. But yeah, as I was saying, if I'm working with one of these Oyumaru copied parts, I tend to not necessarily care about the quality of the blade. As you can see, this hobby knife has seen better days. The tip's been broken off, but it still serves a purpose. It's just because I ordered from the wrong seller. Oh man, yeah. Well, and I mean, I guess try to cut them a little bit of slack because of, COVID times, but at the same time, online sellers, generally speaking, should have their stuff together by now, regardless of pandemic conditions. Oh, and I see that Drakmore Digital is live right now. I wish I could tune in to his stream while I stream, but I think that that would be kind of weird. Oh, come on, Pyro. You didn't realize that you had an account with them already? When I go to a site and order something, if it auto completes my credit card, I'm like, wait a second, what was the last thing I bought from them? And did I get it? Oh yeah, I forget, that Amazon does have, sell on Amazon and fulfilled by Amazon, which are two very different things. But yeah, especially for a part like this that I am going to be battle damaging, I'm not too concerned about how clean it looks. And I am going to be trying out some fun techniques as far as weathering as well. Oh yeah, wasn't there a neat website that ships out of Ireland, I believe? Oh yeah, and give me a holler if you are not, able to see what I am doing here with my hands. Of course, the white balance of this camera is gonna flip out, with my pasty complexion. Let's see here. I can pull this light down a little bit. That'll should help. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Now, if we could just get it to focus. The bane of all Gunpla streamers, the dreaded autofocus. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I've seen your struggles with the autofocus as well. I have to be kind of delicate with this piping here towards the back because it is quite soft. It looks like I didn't mix the green stuff completely because, as you can see, there's still some yellow. Or it could be that it's old green stuff, which is more likely. You know how like the center tends to harden because it's already touching. That's why oh yeah, gonna grab a new camera? What are you looking at? If you don't mind me asking. But yeah, I definitely prefer putties that are not, attached to each other, even by something as minor as a ribbon. Let's see if I can get that line to come back. The good news is that this already kind of has that melted effect that I'm going for. You can see just enough of the details of the former gun without it looking too pristine. It almost kind of looks like something came over the top, and it was a rough Oyamaru job. Like, I definitely could have gotten a better mold, but I did it quickly because, this is my I do, in fact, have a heat gun, but I don't know if that would work on green stuff. I think it would just catch fire. It would probably work on the regular part. Alright. Let's see what we can do here. As far as digging out more space for the connector. I don't want to make it too loose. It makes me happy that it fits rather snugly, but I do want it to be flush with the part. Yeah, see, there's still a bit of a gap there. If you could even see the gap, geez. Yeah. Yes, I did see that on the Discord. Looks pretty wild. I wonder what the stats looked like on those guys. Another thing that I'm going to be working on with this kit is I panel lined it, but I made the mistake of, you know, I was like, oh, well, it's pristine white, right? It would probably be too heavy contrast if I panel lined it in black, so I panel lined it in gray, and now it just looks like kind of trash. So I might try to pen it again. Otherwise, I do have my ink here. I don't have my favorite brush, though. So we'll see. See what kind of results we can get. I would have thought that, you know, a lower contrast panel line would look better, but I was wrong. I think that high contrast panel lines are the name of the game. And if you can get like kind of a smoky look to them, then dark blue would have been interesting for sure. Yeah, see, I don't even think this pen is working too well. I do need to grab, if I'm going to do this, going to need some paper towel to dab away any extra. How did you panel line the Man Roadie? Did you use a pen on that guy, or did you go ink? And without my favorite paintbrush, I'm gonna have to... Oh, pencil. See, and that's what I'm talking about, is like pencils are kind of awesome for panel lining because you get that sort of smoky effect. So I'm going to test this in a spot that maybe is not too conspicuous. I mean, I'm okay with that. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, trouble is I'm having the ink soaking into this piece. Oh, got a little smudge action there. But that's what this is for. Oh my god. Those are two very different vibes. Can you imagine a Gunpla stream set to some Doom Eternal background music? Just. I think that'd be kind of awesome, honestly. Well, it's bugging me that I don't have my zero brush, because I don't feel like I'm getting a good result using this. We're gonna go back to the marker. Heavy Arms Doom Guy Custom. That sounds pretty awesome. Although, I gotta be honest with you, my first Doom Guy suggestion would be the Camphor, since he's got the shotgun. Although, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that you can dual wield in any Doom games. Is that correct? I don't remember being able to dual wield, but then I haven't played. The last Doom that I played was like the original. I didn't even play the what was it? 2016 was when the another Doom came out, or was it before then? Let me see if I've got a maybe just a micron to hit this with. Let's put that there. I always find that the stupid ink on the Gundam marker panel liners, it both dries out way faster than like an art pen, and it sometimes just doesn't catch the plastic, or painted plastic, whichever you're working with. Guns Akimbo power-ups. That sounds awesome. But yeah, I'm really just trying to get these panel lines to pop a little bit more than with the than they did with the light gray. Man, this autofocus is just killing me. Let's switch over to this camera, because at least with this one, I know for a fact that I can control the focus. Lighting's not as good though. Let's see if I can't zoom it in. Whoa, whoa. Got the wrong window. All right, here we go. That's probably close enough. Little smudge down here. See if I can scrape that away. Not that I'm too worried about it, because I am going to be weathering this piece not super heavily, but you know, I mean, come on, it's going to have battle damage, so it's got to be at least somewhat heavily weathered. But yeah, tip to all the artists out there. Well, I'm sure that if you were an artist, you already know this, but stay away from Microns, the Sakura brand fine liner pens. Go with your Copics. They are probably a little more pricey, but I mean, so much better results. They just last longer. Let's get in there and really fill that guy in. So would you say that that was Zoom Eternal? Sorry, dad joke. Oh man, can't even see what I'm doing over here. I mean, look, this is a perfect example of, you know, from this distance away of the camera, you can see the difference between the black panel lined parts and the gray panel lined parts. It is night and day. You'll also probably notice that I did not. I put a couple of the stickers on this piece. I'm not generally a fan of stickers, but I did not do any of the sort of decal stickers, and I don't know if I'm going to be honest. Part of me wants to, but then the other part of me wants it to be a little more anime accurate, because I think the Alex is supposed to have those little red triangles on the shoulder, and a few of them on the legs as well. But yeah, what's the weirdest, if any, alternative color panel lining you've done on a Gunpla? I did sort of a muted brown panel lining. Oh, hey, welcome to the chat there, Dale. The strangest panel lining color that I've ever done was a sort of muted brown color on the Turn A Gundam. And it's because I wanted it to look like it came out of the ground. Ooh, red panel lining sounds very interesting. I could imagine that would work in certain circumstances. Man, I don't think those lines are too fine for this particular fine liner. Let me see if I've got a .05. Hey, we got one. This is a zig. Oh, howdy, Trash Kaiser. Followed on my Twitch, so I assume that that you were following on YouTube previously. I appreciate the follow. See, I need to get like sweet graphics, you know, like Drakmore and Pyro, and all you other fancy professional streamers out there that have stinger graphics whenever someone follows or subs. but I don't use Streamlabs OBS. I use OBS Studio. So, oh, well, I fucked that one up. An alert box. Oh yeah, I remember that. And like I said, sorry that you know, that I don't have the free time to work on those additional character sheets. But of course, you know, like I said, any questions you have, I'm happy to help out. In fact, the in your reply, you brought up a good point for, I think, what would be a great topic for that next video. Working in, so you mentioned attacks and like attack rolls, and I don't think that I had built in any rolling mechanics to the sheet so far, but I think it would be great to work that stuff in. And I saw someone comment something similar as far as like randomly generating stats, and I thought that that'd be a good idea too. But that's one of those things that I think I'd rather, as far as randomly generating stats, I would rather put that off till much later in the series of building a character sheet, just because I would want the main sort of structure of the sheet to be functional and ready to use first, and then add in a random generating component. But as for attacks, really not too difficult, because what you want to do is set up some variables where, say for instance, you have a if it were a d6 based attack, you know, like something like out of Traveler, you'd want to have your variables for what your modifiers would be. So say for instance, if it was a ranged attack, you would have your ranged attack bonus, and then you would call that bonus after generating a random number between 2 and 12, because you roll 2d6 in Traveler. So you generate a random number between 2 and 12, which is you would generate a random number, multiply it by 12, and then add 6, or not add 6, add 2, to ensure that that's like the lowest number you would get. And then you would add that to your variable, which would be just like a document get element by ID, and it would be your 2-hit bonus, which would be whatever your ranged attack stat is. So that's just, you know, kind of off the top of my head. I know it probably doesn't make a lot of sense without seeing it. But yes, I will have to look into alert boxes in OBS Studio, because I'd love to have a little bit of recognition for the folks that choose to subject themselves to my dumpster fire streams. Alright, let's get in and do some more of this. Man. See, and this is what I'm talking about. That's where, like, my Copic fine liner is lasting way longer than this Zig. Let's see if I've got any others. Now this is probably the finest of fine liners. Hey, what's going on? Good to have you on stream with us, Hobby Hero. It's been a while since I've seen you. how are things going on your Gunpla game? Let's see if we can get in here. Do these guys... I wonder if this will probably work better on this skirt piece, because I know that the... God, it is so thin. Let's see if I can... So, I mean, I've got ink coming out of it for sure. It just really... These skirt pieces are so thin and not shallow. Oh man, I hear you. Don't be too hard on yourself. I mean, you made a lot of progress on that. Yeah, see, I've been trying to do the same thing, at least having the discipline to stream at least once a week. Even if things have been a little stressful for me as well, and I haven't been able to get any proper recorded videos out recently, at least, you know, you all get to suffer from my voice via live stream, usually while I'm sucking at whatever video game I'm attempting to play. I can't help it, you know. It's a handicap. It really is. We should start a charity for me to send me to like one of those Fortnite gamer camps. But have you ever tried, like, not sucking? And then I can't believe I forgot to do this. I never forget to sharpen my V-fins. Got myself a decent pair of nippers too, because someone made fun of me on YouTube for having terrible nippers. Nice. And gave you an early Christmas gift, Magic the Gathering. Hey, have a good night. That's awesome. I've got a couple of friends that have been trying to get me into Magic the Gathering. I've also got a few friends that are trying to get me into Warhammer. It's like, you guys realize I don't even have time to play my own Gundam RPG. Now that is an interesting and unpopular opinion. Why do you like the nubs on your fins, Pyro? You absolute heathen. They are indeed antenna. Yeah, see, I would probably get into Kill Team as well. Smaller scale stuff. At least if I were to pick it up, that's how I would want to start. Ooh, went a little crazy there. Did a little goof. So yes, I am indeed using a little makeup brush here to dab away some of the ink. So it is. So it is. Yeah, that's a video that people should appreciate, getting into Warhammer for cheap, because I know that sticker shock is what scares most people away from it. Definitely scares me away from it. Um, but you know, that's like kind of my whole shtick, right? Is that I'm the cheapskate. Well, then there you go. You heard it here first. Don't. Don't get into Warhammer, he says. Hey, come on. If it's good enough for Henry Cavill, it's good enough for me. Well, Hero, you know me. My number one thing that I do is make copies of everything. One, because I'm a perfectionist and I hate to ruin something if I don't have a way of, making up for the fact that I ruined it. Oh, sounds good, man. Take it easy. Uh, so yes, if I were to get into Warhammer, probably the first thing I would do is bust out the Oyamaru or the silicone and start making copies of all of my minis. That way, I would have even bigger armies. People would be like, "You must be rich." I'd be like, "No, I just have silicone." So this is another thing that kind of bothers me about this kit. It's just how jiggly the shoulder pieces are. It's frustrating. I honestly didn't think that I would have this much panel lining still to do. I was hoping to get into the, let's see, we've almost been going an hour. I was hoping to get into the actual weathering within the hour. but we'll get there. Now, I can't remember. I've had this kit for so long. I think that I actually did paint all of the yellow in all of the thruster bits. I don't think that they were yellow out of the box. Definitely doesn't seem that way. Oh man, this is terrible. The wiggliness of this thruster is making my pen slip. There we go. That one's much better. But again, I'm going to be going over this guy pretty thoroughly with some weathering materials. And I've got two ways that I'm going to be weathering this evening. I'm going to be using, I've got some weathering master kits over here that I can use if things go pear-shaped, but for the most part, I'm going to be relying on some pastels. Let's see here. You can see them over here. So that should be interesting. That's what the little makeup sponges are for, is to kind of brush on the pastel color. Good evening, Jamar. Thanks for popping in. Hope you are having a good evening so far. We're just having a nice relaxing one in here. Alright, so backpack is panel lined. Most of the torso's done. Gotta finish this little wraparound. Let's go ahead and pop the backpack off so we can get a little clearer view at what I'm doing. Yes, I find that everyone should have a hobby like this that is a calming influence. I could go on and on about the terrible misfits that I work with and how I am driven absolutely insane by all of the stuff that I have to put up with. Or I could come home and play with plastic model kits. Sounds much less insane that way. Alright. I think the arms are just about good. Let's get the back of the hands here. That's a pretty subtle little one. I don't know if necessarily panel lining all these little fine grooves in the shoulder is going to be necessary once we start rubbing in some of the dirt and soot into the part is done. like I said before, a lot of this is just going over the light gray panel lining that I had already done on this kit, because it is not visible. Well, it just doesn't have enough pop to it. Good. Let's get in there and get that piece. And the other side. Alright. That I'm probably going to want to use the thicker fine liner. I think I got both sides of that, both sides of the back skirts, the inside legs. I do need to get both of the feet really well. But both sides of the backpack are good. Oh, you know what? I missed this spot here. Those little vents. Head. Got a couple little spots back here. Hey Jed, those are predominantly 1/144th. I only have a few 1/100th scale, and most of them are not built yet. Or if they are built, they are currently in disrepair. For instance, oh, you know what? I don't have him nearby, but there is a master grade. It's the old Goof Custom, and it's just all janky. I'm probably going to add that to my list of, you know, restoring old kits that I built when I was a teenager and bringing them up to my current build standard. I still need to finish doing that to the Gundam Shenlong that I started way back when. Probably over a year ago at this point. Maybe even 2. Alright, I think that brings me to the end of the panel lining journey, at least for now. I am going to, let's use a cheapy brush for this step, because I am a little nervous about this. All right. Well, I was going to ink this guy up, but I think I should probably paint him first. So let's start with the weathering instead. So you see I've got my little pastels here. Little makeup brush. And we're just going to hit the edges here. And then kind of smooth them out. with the clean side. And this is really no different than what you would get with a using, like, you know, the Tamiya, like one of these guys. Although what I think I might do is I don't want to get it all smudgy. So I'm going to alligator clip him. That's like the toughest thing about this, is it's like you want to handle it a little bit to kind of get the smudges and smears in the right spots, but you don't want to handle it too much, because then you get your fingerprints all over it and it starts to just look terrible. Let's pop that back in there. Alright. Oh man, I got some orange on me. And we'll just kind of do the same thing to all the other parts. You know, I'm glad you asked that, because I kind of have mixed feelings about the Alex. On the one hand, yes, I do like its design. On the other hand, I find its colors are a little ostentatious. You know, it has this stark white finish compared to the Granddaddy Gundam that is a little more of an off-white. But why? What's your feeling on the Alex? I also find the Alex's head to be a little oddly shaped. It's got kind of a weird fin outwards towards the bottom. So you see, I'm not going for like a full-blown weathered look. I'm just kind of adding a little bit of accent to the parts. If this thing would ever autofocus. Ooh, man, that leg was on there. But I find that all of the designs from War in the Pocket suffer from a thing that I like to call the Boba Fett law of inverse popularity. what that is I determined that there's this odd phenomena when it comes to geeky fandoms, right? And I relate this to Boba Fett since it's the most popular example. Is the less often that you see something in media, the cooler it is as a result of its mystique and its novelty. So, for example, you have Boba Fett. He's really only in 2 Star Wars movies. Now, of course, the lore has expanded upon that because of how cool he was. But, he had what? 2 lines in Empire Strikes Back, 0 in Return of the Jedi, and then he's killed. Oh, good night, Pyro. Thanks for hanging out. I know it's well after bedtime over there across the pond. So, as I was saying, Boba Fett, you only see him for a hot second in the... There you go. Yes, Boba Fett's most famous line. Ah! So yeah, you don't see Boba Fett a whole lot, but he's cool, right? He's that slick bounty hunter that disintegrates people. And so people love him. Yeah, I was just there with a hybrid system for D&D. Oh, hey, no worries, man. I find that I watch more Twitch while I'm at work than than when I'm at home. In the comics, Boba Fett fell into the Lazarus pit 2 times in a row. That's pretty embarrassing. But yeah, so relating that back to Gundam, bringing it all back full circle, as they say, people freaking love the camphor. They love it. And I can't get over it because it's it's an alright design, but I think that people really just like the camphor because of its novelty. It only shows up in 1 major fight, and it gets walloped by the Alex, and that's the last you ever hear of it. But people freaking love it. And then it even got its own remake in the Build Fighters series, and it's like, wow, the camphor amazing. That's even cooler than the regular camphor. Yeah, I was going to say the Sarlacc itself is an alien that lives in the sand, correct? Where you'll be slowly digested over 1,000 years, as C3PO put it. Which is just silly. Like, yeah, I mean, my body might be slowly digested over 1,000 years, but I'm probably not going to live for 30 minutes after I fall in that thing. Unless, of course, I'm Boba Fett and I've got a thermal detonator. Oh! He's got a thermal detonator! Yeah, I think that these pastels are dried out because it's like, obviously the sponge is getting a decent bit of color. It's coming off well on my hand, but you're really not seeing a whole lot of difference. Ooh, Gundam F91. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the F91. But, I mean, it depends on what you want to do with it, you know? Are you going to make it part of a diorama? What are your tastes like? Do you like, you know, heavily weathered mobile suits, or are you kind of like me, where you kind of like them clean and still looking pretty pristine? Oh, dude, 100%. I agree with you on the Zaku. Like, just the OG Zaku design. I will admit that I like the chest of the F2 a little bit more than the standard Zaku. But yeah, I mean, I've got my standard Zaku over here. I did a little bit of customization work on this guy because if you've ever seen the regular high grade Zaku, its head looks a little goofy because it's got a really large visor. So I went in there, and you should be able to see it once I pop it off here. So I went in there and sanded down the bottom of the top cap and sanded off the bottom of the visor interior, and it has a much more sleek and aggressive look to it now than it did before. Hello, thank you for joining. Oh god, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get this back on. There we go. So yeah, as you can see, the visor is a lot slimmer, a lot more aggressive looking, and still fits on the old body. So eventually I'm going to get in there with my standard tricks. Oh yeah, man, I don't think that I provided that much advice as far as customizing the F91, but yeah, you know, it's all about context, right? Like I think that I would the reason that I've waited so long to kind of touch this kit is because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it until I decided to throw it in this diorama. But yeah, I am from the East Coast of the US. Oh, you know what? I did not panel line this one. I keep catching all these panel lines that I missed. But yeah, Dale, have you joined the Discord? Because if you don't have an in-person group, I know that we're always trying to get together games on Discord for the Gundam RPG. Oh no wait, oh sorry, you said test playing that D&D game. Wait, I forget. Were you talking about the Gundam D&D, or are you talking about the D&D game that you were working on the character sheet for? And if you want, go ahead and ping me another email, and I can write a little snippet of that code for you to copy for an attack generator. I don't mind doing that for you, because that's... If I had some paper nearby, I would actually just go ahead and write it out, because it's not too terribly difficult. Forever DMs. Yeah, right here. Oh. But yeah, I don't know. I should have a link to the Discord in the panels of Twitch and DLive, as well as I always try to put it in the description, the deets on the YouTube videos. it's always tricky when I try to multi-stream to several platforms at once, because for some reason I find that YouTube never updates their titles, Twitch never updates the category that I'm streaming to, and DLive just never updates anything at all. I think someone once said, like, wow, this is an interesting version of Breath of the Wild, and I was building Gundams. So, oh man. You know, you try to do things where everyone can find you, and it just doesn't always work out that way. And yeah, I'm trying to use these little makeup sponges instead of the little brush that comes in this piece. And obviously this is sticking on a lot better than the pastels were. I think I need to do something with them to kind of revive them. I don't think that they have enough like oil content to them or something. Get in here. I kind of really want to muck up the joints where there's a lot of action. Oh, so I'm glad you asked, Jed, because I posted on Discord that I had put the Chobam armor on the chubby armor on the Alex for the first time last night. After, like I said, I don't know how many years I've had this kit built and just sitting on the shelf back there, but I put the Chobam armor on for the first time, and you know what? How about this? Here's a little spoiler. This is the scene that I am recreating using my Alex and my Zaku Kai. And again, I mentioned at the start of the stream that I'm going to be doing a little parts forming. As you know from my work in progress 8th MS team diorama back there, I really like to have some flexibility when it comes to my kits, so I'm not going to melt the arm of the Gundam Alex. So I actually made a duplicate using Oyumaru and green stuff, and I'm going to use this as the damaged arm piece. Similarly, you see how like the Zaku has its left arm missing. I made a copy of the entire left arm, or left shoulder I should say, and again, this one, you know, normally I get frustrated if my copies are not pristine, but because this one is going to be battle damaged, I don't really care. Oh man, Dale, you and me both. I am kind of fiending for some tabletop RPG action, and hopefully of both the Gundam and non-Gundam variety. I also have a game of Traveler that I've been wanting to play. Yeah, I'm glad that you. Oh yeah, have a good night, Jamar. Thanks for hopping in. Zaku, good to see you. I can't believe that I didn't realize you were following me on Twitter, and so yeah, I gave you the follow back. And of course, I love your Zoc action. What are you working on with the Gundam there? Oh, okay. Bye, Zaku. But yeah, what are you doing with the high new Gundam? Or no, sorry, heavy weapon system, new Gundam. Which, by the way, is one of my favorite units to use in G Generation Genesis. Ooh, a sci-fi StarCraft tech D&D. Well, my friend, have you ever heard of Traveler? Because I think that you would definitely be interested with it. So Traveler, I think, came out around the same time as original D&D back in the 70s, but has been recently republished by... Oh, hey, thanks, Jed. I appreciate it. Hopefully I can live up to that scene, that epic scene where men cried. Where boys cried was Hiro Yui telling Relina that he was going to kill her. Where men cried is where little Al comes running out screaming, Bernie! But yeah, Traveler, I wish that more people knew about it and more people played it. It is one of the most fascinating role-playing systems that I've ever come across. You don't have sort of traditional leveling up like you do in, say, D&D or Pathfinder. It is a D6 based system as opposed to a D20 based system. So all of your rolls are made with just a pair of D6s, which is nice because, you know, you don't have to go fishing for polyhedral dice if you don't want to. Now, all that said, the probably the most interesting part about Traveler is the character creation process, because it is in itself kind of like a game. In Traveler, you pick your career, and then you roll on these tables to determine what happens to you in said career. So let's say, for instance, you decide you want to be like a merchant marine or something like that, and you're exploring space on a merchant vessel. You roll on a table, and if you roll a certain amount, you get like contacts. Wait, is it the one where you choose I want to be a noble, and you may be the worst noble? Oh, Sammy, what are you doing? Yes, exactly. So yeah, you can roll on the mishap table and end up like, you know, losing a limb. And your careers they're supposed to last for 4 years per career. So it's just very interesting. Oh man. So like, not only are you a permanent DM, but you like supply the materials. Ships are fucking expensive. But it's like, that's realistic, right? You know, like God, I am loving the I don't know if I have even shown this off quite yet, but I am loving the difference in color with just a little bit of gradation, a little bit of, you know, dirt on it. Like I said, I'm not going full blown weathering. I'm not gonna like chip any parts or anything like that, but oh yeah, I'm with you too. I mean, if I have to choose, I prefer to be the DM. Um, but you know, it'd just be nice if every once in a while everyone asks like, "Hey, do you want to play?" Or Yeah, these weathering powders are incredible. I tried to do the pastel thing and it just wasn't working for me. Maybe see, and I think so. I follow Action Playtop, one of my favorite Gunpla YouTubers. If only because his stop motion animations are incredible. And of course, he does his patented finger brush technique. I feel like that is just too much, though, right? So, like, maybe I can clean it up with the... Oh, hey-oh. Look at that. I think we might have found the perfect mix to get in there with the finger brush and then clean it up with the makeup brush. There's still a few smudges on there that I'm not a fan of, but so let's say I get in there and do and try and kind of smudge it towards the center there. Dang, that sounds pretty sweet. Cannons Everywhere is the is the name of the game. Basic Word document and character sheet. Yeah, I mean, Pyro, who was in here earlier, he frequently uses Microsoft Excel to make character sheets because you can then use formulas to mess with you know, if you've got ability scores, you can set up the skills to be formulaic based on that. Give it some nice Zimmerit. I love it. So then, do you think that you will be displaying your so does the heavy weapon system new Gundam, is it basically a new Gundam with the armor parts separate that you can put on, or does it come just as the heavy weapon system? Can you purge the armor? Is my question. Well, of course you can paint models. The only thing stopping you is, you know, is you, right? Don't let your dreams be dreams. In your first game of D&D, your friends were not restricted to class stereotypes. Interesting. I mean, I wouldn't want anybody to be restricted to class stereotypes. You know, everyone hates the horny bard, right? You don't know Zimmer is essentially an armor coating given to tanks. Oh, nice. Jen, I'm glad you asked that because I have tried doing the anime outline style on a kit. He's not perfect just yet, but here's that sort of cell shaded look. I figured what better kit to practice it on than the Granddaddy Gundam. But yeah, got a little highlighting, and I don't know if can you even see the difference in the shaded parts of the blue and the light blue. One big old kit. Hi Gideon, thanks for joining. Scottish accent rogue halfling with the battle junkie attitude. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Honestly, I love when people don't play to type in role-playing games. Hey, thanks guys, I appreciate that. I felt like the chest and the head turned out all right when I did that, but the parts that really didn't look great were the shoulders. I tried to use some alcohol-based inks to get the shaded effects, and it just didn't look right. So I stripped the color off, and I'm going to try a different technique as soon as I can find the right materials for said technique. I want to try and use paint markers. My problem is that I'm not too talented when it comes to using a paint brush, so I can't get those like nice crisp lines without getting a bunch of brush strokes in them. So I want to try and use paint markers if possible, but we'll see what we can do. Let's get in here with... Let's see. I think it's gonna look good. I'm trying to get a Jagan to do a similar thing. Yeah, absolutely. My favorite anime style shading painters. There's a user on Instagram called I'm probably gonna butcher the pronunciation of this name, but it's Hwadam, Hwadam. He does a lot of great Gunpla in that anime shaded style, and then Lek Custom Toys. He has a YouTube channel as well, LEK Custom Toys. He primarily does Transformers, though. I might do some dry brushing. I'll probably do more dry brushing on the Zaku than on the Alex, just because the Alex, since it's predominantly white, I can get away with, mostly just this. Although I think it would be interesting to try and get into the Zaku using some green pastels for that additional color. And I have some cardstock that I'm going to use to create the building that the Alex falls into, and I have some foliage. I'll probably use the Bard's Craft dill technique for the grass. And as always, I will use my patented phosphorescent paint in order to get the eyes of the Alex and the mono eye of the Zaku to light up under a black light. That will be pretty cool. I might even add some like signal lights and things like that on them, to just kind of up the realism a little bit. Like I said, I want to try and strive for a more anime accurate look than not, but so I probably won't have the big Alex decal on the shield, although the Alex doesn't even have the shield in this particular scene anyway. I think it's time for a little camera swap here. Master Grade Neo Zeon was my favorite Gundam from a series. The Neo Zeon, like the big mobile armor, or are you talking about like the Gundam Zeon, like from the from the Build series. Yeah, I love how easy it is to work with these weathering kits. I mean, you really can be as sloppy as you want. Oh, 100%. The classic Gundam colors. You know, that is the anime, right? I say dry brushing only the joints will work for the Gundam, but the Zaku needs it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, so yeah, I might. And I'm not gonna go. Uh, Unlike most of my kits, I normally will use some metallic paints for like some of the inner joints and stuff. I'm actually not going to do that on these kits again for anime accuracy. I want to kind of give them a nice matte finish. The giant red one who had a shield missile and was like double the size of most. Oh man, I don't remember that. Oh, yes, the Zazabi. The Zazabi is an incredible kit. I don't have one personally, but I've seen people do some amazing stuff with that kit. Uh-oh. My dog is barking, which means it might be time for me to wind down the stream. As much fun as I'm having. Because it might be time for me to head upstairs and eat dinner. Friend bought you one and in love. Oh man, yeah, I would be in love with that kit too, 100%. Oh, well, dude, no better time to start doing models if you've got a Zazabi. Um, yeah, I've seen so many people do cool stuff with that, whether it's metallic paint finishes. I've seen like, and I'd love to try this technique. I've seen this marble finish where people will spray their kit and then they put saran wrap on it and kind of like crimp the saran wrap on the outside, wait for the paint to dry, peel the saran wrap, and it leaves this like marbled effect. So cool. Oh yeah, I've heard that the real grade Sazabi is like the best real grade, hands down. The new Gundam has great reviews. But I think I am going to quit and go upstairs, have a beer, and have some dinner and get my weekend started. Um, Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, hanging out with me. Hopefully, you guys had some fun watching me dirty up this pristine white kit. And I can't wait to show off the diorama, which should hopefully be done after the weekend. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. And yeah, I will catch you guys on Discord, and hopefully we can get some more dice rolling soon, because like I said, I'm jonesing for some D&D or Traveler or Delta Green or Gundam 5e. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Hit me up. And Mr. Temmie, thank you. Yeah, join me on Discord. We can chat all you like. I may not be free tomorrow. I might be cutting down a tree for Christmas. But yeah, definitely hit me up. You guys, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your Friday. Have a good weekend, and I will catch you later.